Hi, my friend. You seem very on the edge and out of breath. Can I ask what is wrong? You seem like something is bothering you or something like that. Someone was chasing you. Okay, how far ahead were you? Where do you think they are? Are they outside or are they trying to come in? Okay, so they were just behind you, then they saw you went into this MMA gym and then they, you think they went off or do you think they're still out there waiting for you? Okay. Well, yeah, as you can see, I was just, I was not sparring with anyone because it's pretty late, which is also quite weird. You are out this late. You're not drunk, are you? You're not drunk. Good. But I was just having a training session. That's the good thing about living in your gym, in your own gym, like you can just train whenever you want, even though it's late. Do you want some water? It's not easy with the gloves on, but here you go. So please just sit down and just drink a sip of that water just to calm yourself down, Can you tell me why were you running from them? Why did they try to attack you, I guess? Okay. They were a little bit provoking and you just told them to shut up and then he just started chasing you. Yeah. Okay. They clearly don't know who you are and your skills. But kudos to you for not just smashing them. Yeah. Because you are a pretty good fighter, so I know that you could get one or maybe two of them actually. But they were free, you say, so I can also see the idea in running. There's no need to stay and fight if you can just get one or two, and it's not smart just fighting to fight if you can avoid it. But the good thing about a place like this and me being up as late as I am, then it is when they see from the outside that this is actually an MMA gym, then most people would just wander off because they don't want to get their head smashed in, We do know how to fight here, so they know that. But I'm very proud of you for not just picking the fight. And some of the hard things about actually being a good fighter, is when not to fight. I know it's kind of cliche, but when you know how to fight and someone is just going up to you and provoking you, then you do have the skills that's needed actually to just put an end to it, like right there. But it really demands some self-control to not just bash their head in. Yeah, we don't want that. It does take a lot of self-control, especially when you're young and your hormones are just going through the roof, and if there's girls staring or something like that, then you don't want to be the guy running, Yeah, I can totally see that. I've been in that position myself. I've done this for a lot of years now, and I was just like every other young man out there, Yeah, with a little bit of temper, which is a great way to come into something like this because you learn to control it. The good thing about being a good fighter, having the skills to actually fight, is you are very confident in yourself, so you don't need to fight because you know that you have what it takes to put that guy down, but you won't do it because you have that confidence in yourself, and that's just what I saw from you right now, so I'm very proud of that. Thank you for showing me that actually. But I think we do have a security camera outside. And I'm just gonna check that. I'll just go to the door also and just take a listen. Just open the door for a little while. I'll check the security camera first. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, I can see they wandered off immediately. They didn't want to get any smoke, you know. Not today. And it's also quite nice because if they see you again, then they know that you can fight. And then maybe they won't bother you because you were actually the bigger person right there and fleet, even though that you can't fight, and maybe they will respect that, you know. Maybe not. There's a lot of people when you can't fight if you have some muscle mass and if you just do have what it takes to, then they want to fight you anyways, because if they might win, and they might just don't care, but if they might win, then they feel just like, you know, that they are the best person at that club right there. And that is where, you know, in training we do not have so many offensive moves. That is mostly tournament stuff, you know. But in training it is mostly defensive moves, and that is the reason, because then we can pin them down and they can cool off a little bit. The bouncer can get to you guys, you know, and just clean it up from there. Yeah, so just as smooth as possible, you know, as it can be. But since you're actually here at the gym, we could also, you know, when you have just calmed down a bit and you have drank your glass of water and we've just talked this through, then we could just take a small sparring session and I can see if your skills are still there. I think that you should stay the night here, because if they were waiting for you or something like that outside when they are 3 persons and they are mad at you for warning or something like that, then they might hide somewhere, and I will also follow you out tomorrow. But then we are at least 2 against 3. Then it's a little bit more fair fight, you know. And we know how to fight. They probably don't. They're just some tough guys, you know. They're just some tough guys. Yeah. But here is the good example that I am, because I was just now I need to keep alert, you know, for those guys not coming in, you know. So I have my white monster right here. Yeah. Okay, so now I just want to get your stress levels down a bit. So you are always seated. That's nice. Can you just let your shoulders drop down? I see they are still up to the ears. It's not ideal for stress levels. Yeah, just let them drop completely down. Good. Okay. Inhale and exhale. Yeah, just to get your nervous system under control. That's quite important. So, inhale. Hold it for a bit. Exhale. The good thing about this is it's the only thing that you have to worry about right now. They're probably gone. Hopefully you stay the night here. You are safe. You are protected. You are very safe right now. You are the safest of places that you ever can be, you know. An MMA gym with your MMA instructor. That's one of the safest places that you can be. Yeah. So, if you just inhale and exhale. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's in through the nose and out through the mouth or vice versa, you know. Just do whatever you feel like, just to calm yourself down. I see the shoulders are still a little bit high, so just think about dropping them down, not up to here. Then your fight or flight instincts are prepared for what's gonna happen. There's nothing gonna happen except I would like to spar a little bit with you if you're not that tired. Then we can just spar for like 20 minutes, see what kind of moves you got, if you have been practicing from our last session. It's quite nice. I see that you normally are good at practicing, but it's a little while I've seen you in here, so yeah. I just wanna make sure that you're okay and that I just like having you around here. It's nice. Okay, so inhale, shoulders down. Exhale. Inhale, down with the shoulders. Exhale. Can you do that 10 times? Just close your eyes. Do it with me 10 times. Last one. That's great. Do you feel relaxed? I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so now that you are relaxed, I want you to actually, if we just spar a little bit right now, I just try to hit a little bit slow, Our nervous system is in control, and you are in control over your movements now. That is the idea behind all of this. We are not mad, we are not frightened. We're just us two right here, and we have a mutual respect for each other. So remember, I will never try to hurt you intentionally. So now if I just hit out with like 60-70% speed, then you just have to avoid it with your head. You can also just do like a block, whatever you just like. So I will just try to do that right now, and just like do that 20 times. And let's just do like we do at a practice, where I do not tell you which one is coming, but you're just doing whatever you can to avoid it, either block or duck under the head. So get your hands up, and let's begin. Good. Great. Nice. So you ready for a little bit faster speed? And this is about 70%, so you should be able to duck and protect yourself from that. And I can see that you actually are doing that, so that's great. Let's go. Now let's crank up the tempo a little bit, 85%. Nice. You're really good at this. The reason why I also wanted to do this right now is because since you were attacked, then I also want to know that you actually know how to protect yourself. Either block or the head movement. Duck out of the way, so you can get safe away from the situation if they are trying to do something to you. And that is also one of the things that you've also been very good at my classes, defensive moves. And I'm happy to see that, because then I know that you're not a violent person who wants to go out in the city and make chaos happen, If I see any of my students and hear of any of my students do that, then it's just out of here. I don't tolerate that. We don't tolerate that. It's okay to stop a fight. If you see someone get hurt, if a guy is hurting their girlfriend or something like that, then you should be able to go out, make a rear naked choke or something like that. Just tap them out. They won't tap out in real life situations, and it doesn't work like that. But if you can just choke them out, and you know when to stop. If you can hold them down, pin them down until the police is coming or something like that. That is what we are trying to achieve here at my classes. So I'm very happy to see that you're good at the defensive moves. That means it's what you've been practicing a lot. And it also means that you are naturally more drawn to those kind of moves, and that's great. Grappling we won't do right now. I know that you're a great grappler as well, and that's great for defensive moves and pinning people down and waiting for the help to come. So that's great. So I think that the most important thing we can do right now is just get some sleep. I've just seen your defensive moves. We've been sparring a little bit. That's great. I'm very happy that we could just do these small movements, That's really nice. So right now I just want to try to read you some of my logs on you from week 1 you were here to now. I'll just take off my gloves. The reason why I actually want to read this right here is just to reassure you about how good you actually are to this and how much progress you've made in a small amount of time. Sometimes you can also just, by getting a little bit of confidence, and this is full of confidence, it's not just me saying this is directly from what I wrote about you in my log. I do this about every athlete we have here. And it's just very reassuring to hear if you made progress. When you know that you've made so much progress, then you are also just a more calm fighter, you know that you actually are very good at this. You're able to maintain, you're able to obtain so much information and actually use it correctly. And I just want to read this out loud. Day 1, when you came in, you actually knew nothing. You are not from a fighting world. You have never done anything. You've never done anything in fighting, you told me. It's not your alley, It's not something that you've done. So, the first thing I observed was you were a little bit aggressive when someone attacked you, and that's totally fine in the beginning. It can be frightening when someone is attacking you, even though it's not personal. That's just a person who's trying to hit you. It's not very nice. So, that is why I have written it down here, so we can also see the mental game change. I saw a very frightened person when getting attacked. Yeah. So, that would be a very easy target for those people outside, Of course, you were not from a fighting background, so you couldn't do anything. But in a week's time, I saw progress. Within a week, I could see that you were not even frightened anymore when someone was attacking you. you had only been here for like 2 times in that week, and that's totally fine. Twice in a week is totally fine. But you've only been training 2 times. I saw a lot more of a confident person when you were attacked, because you're not made of glass. You're not made of glass. It can hurt a little bit, but it's not that bad. The thought about getting hit is actually worse than actually getting hit. So I just saw a more confident fighter. You were really practicing those defensive moves. I could really see it on you. That is something I really like to see in an athlete, So, very great progress mental-wise, and also just seeing that you are trying to achieve something defensive. That's very nice. So, furthermore, I saw from week 2, you've been here 2 more times as well that week. I can see that you've been practicing very much at home, because I could just see that you did some moves. You actually did some moves correctly. You were against an experienced fighter, and I just saw that you actually took him down. Did not win the fight, but I did not expect that after 2 weeks. He has been here for 3 years, so I did not expect that. But just that you were able to take an experienced fighter down is immense result for like 2 weeks, especially when we saw the starting point. And week 3 and 4, and you have only been here for a month, so week 3 and 4, I just saw someone who could challenge the people who have been here for a couple of years. I really saw that you have done your groundwork, you have done your defensive work. Not the most offensive person, in the world, and that's great, because we don't have to be in offense all the time. It's good to be in defense and wait for attacks. So you can actually do something about the attacks, and turn it against them. So you've only been here for a month, a little over a month. You've been here for a month and a half maybe. But I've just, in my logbook, seen that you have made so much progress, and you've actually been a decent fighter. Only from a month and a half, I can say confidently to you that you can challenge most people out there. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't challenge most people out there. It will not end good. But you can, and you are now what I will call a quite experienced fighter in only 1.5 months. We don't see that very often, because it's natural for you, even though you might not think it yourself. So that was just a confidence boost for you here in the logbook. I think that the best thing you can do right now is get some good sleep. Yeah, some restitution, So if you just lie down, just fall asleep, then I will just go out and spar a little bit